lock in, trying to lock in. So for everyone, if you have a question, please throw it in the chat. We'll do our best to get you an answer. But we're just hanging out, answering questions about 911 dispatching for the next couple hours. Is dispatch being inundated? Words are hard. Right now with outage, we were advised not to call. Only go to FD or PD. I don't know what that's about. What state are you in? I haven't heard that. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. Any other dispatchers on the line heard anything? No. I hope that doesn't come to my agency. Whatever that outage is, it could stay away from me. But no, we haven't had any issues with our systems going down. I mean, we could definitely talk about foundationally, all of our systems need to be upgraded and updated. There is always a reality, and I don't know if the public knows about this enough. There is always a reality of our systems just going down. Soft technology is technology, and technology does fail. And when technology, here I am trying to stream, my internet isn't strong enough, right? So my technology fails, and that's a reality that can happen to any comm center, any 911 center, anywhere. But I am not familiar with this and what you're talking about so far. So anyone who's heard of this, please feel free, throw it in the chat. If you are watching this back on YouTube after it has been aired, thank you so much for joining. We are having technical issues with our internet at our new studio. We will get this figured out. We will start live streaming on both of our platforms to get the most information out to the most people as possible. But for now, thank you for just watching this back on replay, liking this VOD, and really, really appreciate the love and support. Double Trouble. Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I appreciate all your help. I got released and it's been going well. Yes. Congratulations. Hey, don't forget to genuinely, seriously, like, take a moment, celebrate, go get the best dinner you like, hang out with your favorite people. Getting released from training, like clearing training, is such a monumental moment, and it's such a awesome time in your career. And sometimes we forget to kind of like take a breath and like give ourselves a pat on the back for the tough job we just did. That is 911 dispatcher training. So congratulations, and I am honored that we were able to help you even just a little bit in that process. Again, everyone just jumping on, continue to like the live. It sends it out to people, lets them know we're having these conversations. We'll be live till about 4:30, depending on how things are going. Just chatting about 911 dispatching, answering any questions you guys have. If you are a current 911 dispatcher, feel free to throw your state into the chat, what state you are dispatching from, and how many years you got under the headset. What I love genuinely about these lives is that I don't have all the answers. I'll tell you right now, I don't know everything. But getting into these live situations and live events allows people that might have more insight, other insight, to comment and give feedback as well. So don't be afraid if someone throws a question in there that I'm answering. If you have an answer, if you have a better answer, throw it in there. We're all here to help anyone. Help everyone. Can anyone go to it, or do you have to have an invite? I'm assuming that's about the conferences that I mentioned, the Be the Difference and the CalNINA. Anyone can go to these conferences. CalNINA is California NINA's state chapter conference. You just got to pay to go. Be the Difference as well. I think it's this weekend. I talk with my hands and I'm realizing I have two cameras here. I want to say Be the Difference is this weekend, so it might be a little too late for that one, but CalNINA's in March, and a lot of other local we're kind of at the start of the conference season again. So definitely check out your local chapters, National NINA, APCO, and see when their chat when their when their conferences are. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like the live. We're almost at 3,000 likes. You guys are freaking awesome. We're just getting started. My father, Gianni, my father is a police sergeant in Massachusetts. Very, very cool. Awesome. I've been watching your videos my entire journey. I'm so happy you found our videos to help you through this process. You know, it's really interesting that we're at a point in, you know, what we're doing, what we've been doing, that people are starting to be a couple years into their career who's used our resources, and it's just really rewarding, right? You know, I get to I post a lot on the internet. I don't get out into the wild enough as I would like to, but just hearing that folks are like in their career, they're thriving. You know, I know one thing I hear from folks on the internet, you know, is it's the negative stuff about dispatch, and that's real. That exists. This isn't a perfect profession. This is a career where you're going to give a lot and not necessarily always get equal exchange in return. But a lot of places, this is an excellent career with an excellent departments. But, you know, not all departments are built equal. Not all departments are built equal. I just finished my polygraph a couple hours. Ariana, you okay? You good? Polygraph, man. Congrats. I'm sure you did just fine. Upstate New York said don't call 911 for Verizon outages. We can use phones. You can use phones at all. Yeah, sometimes Verizon or AT&T will have an outage that like takes out our 911 services. When that happens, there is usually a 7-digit emergency number that goes directly to the police department in your local agency. Yeah, it happens. I've dealt with issue with Verizon or AT&T before at work. But you know, I haven't been to work today, so there is a good chance that when I go to work at 6, that they tell me about a Verizon outage. So from at 6 a.m. this morning, it was all good. So hopefully by the time I go to work at 6, it's all good again. We'll see. We'll see. Burnt Kilt Buna. Hello, you beautiful human. You are so appreciation. Blah, blah, blah. So appreciated. Oh, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Gosh, neighbor has a rooster over here, and that rooster is active right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that rooster is active. Dang, been out since noon. Can't call anything. That's crazy. Noon? What? And it's New York, so you're a couple hours ahead. Man, hopefully they fix that soon. Let me actually look. Let's see if I'm going to have a terrible time when I go to work today. For everyone who's just jumping on, we're just hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. Yeah, figuring out the internet is not great here, and we are going to fix that to be able to stream a little smoother. But for now, we're streaming off my phone, and that seems to be working at the moment. Not perfect, but we will keep moving forward. So thank you guys so much for continuing to like that live. Liking that live just tells TikTok to tell people that we're in here chatting. Verizon 911 outage. Yeah, 3 hours ago, Verizon outage knocks out U.S. mobile service, including some 911 calls. Oh, see, scary. This is why I think it's super important emergency 911 emergency education. I think we're definitely in a world with all of our technology that we expect it to work. Like this internet, I expect it to work, and it's making my eye twitch that it is having an issue, right? Like we're just built that way in the day and age that we are living in, is that technology, as we know it, is supposed to work perfectly all the time. And when it doesn't, right, it's a really hard pivot for us. And when 911 fails or goes down, what are you going to do? So kind of having that plan, having those 7-digit numbers, having non emergency numbers, because even if you got to hit through a phone tree, that non emergency number is still going to have a live person on the end of it because we're staffed 24/7. So just kind of like, when they talk about the go bags for like earthquakes and emergencies, yada, yada, yada. Think about your go bag when technology fails. How can I access emergency services if 911 for some reason isn't working? So, that's a good thing to do too. A good plan to have. Um, just reading this outage a little more here. An ATT spokesperson, blah, blah, blah. It's normal. It's operating normally at this time. Out of sight down detector shows spikes in reports of disruptions. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I hope that it is fine where I work. We'll see. How long do you think for final approval takes after your background finished and was submitted? So it depends on what the next steps are at your agency. A lot of agencies, after your background, might have you do a polygraph, might have you do a medical exam. Depending on how backlogged getting into those are, it could be a month or two. If you don't have to do those steps, I would still say at least a month or two, because they have to submit their packet, turn it into the department reviews it. So I'd give them at least a couple weeks if you have no other steps. It would be nice if you could hear from them in a week or two, but I would at least give them a month without worrying, for sure. Oh, you answered my question. Not required to poly. It's like, yeah, I would give them at least a month before you hear back, but hopefully you hear sooner than that. What county do you dispatch in? I am out here in Alameda County, Bay Area, California. Yeah, dispatching out here in the Bay. You know what I mean? It's been out since noon. We can't call anything. That's crazy. 117K people right now, all the East Coast. Some Cali and Texas too, but mostly the East Coast. Yeah, y'all can keep that. Keep that over there. Keep an outage over there. I'm good. I'm good. What do you suggest? I'm going to use tech for emergencies. Yeah, I would suggest looking up your local agency or the agencies or the local area that you frequent. Like if you're frequenting a different city or county for family, if you're frequenting a different city or county for your work, like wherever you spend the most time, looking up that local agency's non-emergency number, um, or 7-digit emergency number. It's usually listed on their website, and programming that into your phone. So if for some reason you are unable to dial 911, you can literally Google XYZ Police Department and call their 7-digit line. Before 911, that's how people got a hold of emergency services. There was a 7-digit emergency line that went to their local agency. 911 realistically has only been around for, I think, 60 years. So it is a very, very new service. And, that is just a backup plan. You should always have the non emergency number in your phone because, 911, of course, should only be used for life or death emergencies. But when in doubt, call 911. But yes, saving that number in your phone when there's an outage, that is definitely good preemptive planning. That'll definitely help if this happens again, for sure. For everyone just jumping on, thank you so much for continuing to like the live. 4.1K likes. We're going to be on here for another hour and a half at least. At least. Do you prefer phones or radio? I think I prefer radio. I think I prefer radio, but I am very aware and knowledgeable that there's only so many radio channels in every department. You gotta like answering the phones. I mean, it's the reality of this job. You gotta like answering the phones, and it is definitely something that is a learned skill, and something people get better and better at the more they do it. So definitely don't run away from answering the phones and hiding on radio. You definitely got to keep those phone skills up too. Any tips on young adults getting the job? I am a big fan of people getting into this job earlier the better. And it really comes down to like knowledge about benefits, retirement, saving, like all the boring adult stuff we don't talk about enough when we're younger. And we think that we don't have to worry about until later. Like I would have loved to got into this profession 10 years earlier. Um, but for young adults, it's really about doing the work, doing the knowledge to really figure out if this job is the right job for you, doing sit alongs, researching the company, or excuse me, the department, going and seeing if it's a good vibe, it's a good fit, if there's growth there, if growth is something you are interested in. And it's not for this job, in my opinion, it's not about, um, they don't have enough life experience if they are younger. It really truly is like the person, the person and their experience and um, their lived experience if they're able to do this job. But I think for young folks considering this job, do work, do research, sit at these departments, ask questions, get the vibe of the room so you can really make sure that this is the right agency for you. Thank you guys for hanging out. There's like 10 of us chilling, talking about 911 dispatching. Last time I went live, I told everyone that, look, we're going to be doing this once a week. Hopefully we get our stuff together with this internet, but we're going to be doing this once a week. And we are by the end of this, by the end of this year, I really want these lives to be like thousands of people, just thousands of people learning about dispatch, talking about dispatch, interacting about 911. I did a big spiel. It kind of came up in the live last time about how important that education aspect of what we do is. We're promoting this line of work. We're highlighting the folks who are already doing it, but that public education is super important because even if you're an aspiring dispatcher, you give this thing a go, it doesn't work out for whatever reason, whether it is you decide to bow out or you don't make it through training or whatever, right? You still have all this knowledge and information that you're taking with you out into the world about 911, about 911 services that you can tell people and that you can utilize if and when you ever have to call 911. And that's really, really a big thing we're going to be focusing on this year for sure. For everyone just hanging out, don't forget to like that live. It just tells TikTok to let other people know we're chilling, talking, answering questions about 911 dispatch. Feel free to throw any questions you have into the chat. We're going to be working through the chat here real quick. Is there a difference in telecommunications or dispatching positions? Dispatching, if it specifically says dispatching, it usually means that you're working the radio. A lot of agencies are either dual trained, meaning you learn phones and radio and you work both throughout your shift, or you work call taking and radio, like either or. So you're either a call taker, 911 telecommunicator, or a 911 dispatcher. I have always been a dual trained dispatcher, so dispatcher kind of is how I've always identified as my title. Some people say telecommunications officers, I really like the title at my agency. It's public safety dispatcher, public safety dispatch call taker, I think. I might be miscoding that. But we have the option to be call takers only or to be dispatchers who call, take, and dispatch. So typically, if it's just a dispatching position and they have another position open, there might be options to do one or the other. Um, Usually, dispatchers, if you are working radio, there's usually a higher pay incentive that goes with that because it's a little more of a challenging. I wouldn't say challenging. It takes a different skill set. Not that it's harder than answering phones because phones is tough, but it takes a different skill set, an additional skill set. So it's usually compensated a little more if you are doing radio dispatching. Paul, greetings from Scottsbluff County, 911, Nebraska. Thanks for your content. Hello from California, Paul. Thank you so much for jumping on, saying hi. Really, really, really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. I've been to Nebraska. I've been to Nebraska. Plan to go again. Education is so important. Go beyond the ICS and APCO courses. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You know, I'm going to do my little spiel here. If you have been following us, we are in the middle of kind of a rebrand or relaunch of our new company, First Call Ready. That's what we used to be, the Raspy Dispatcher LLC. The Raspy Dispatcher is alive and well, as you can see. But our actual company is now called First Call Ready. And we're gonna be slowly launching all the information about what we got going on at First Call Ready. But firstcallready.com, you can head there, join our subscriber and wait list, so you get all that information as we put it out right to your email, right to your box, so you don't miss out on anything. Again, that's firstcallready.com. But one of the big things we're going to be focusing on with First Call Ready is that professional development aspect, that continued education, especially when it comes to leading in a center, and not necessarily just leading as far as I'm a supervisor, I'm a manager, and I have people I lead, but really peer to peer. You know, you really don't have to wait to have a title to be a leader and to be a positive impact in your center. And we really want to create trainings and opportunities and communities that really support that development. So firstcallready.com, firstcallready.com. You can head there, throw your name on this wait list, get information. We got an announcement coming, I believe, next week to start introducing you to the team, to our podcast. Like, oh, so many things, guys. So many things. For everyone just joining us, please, please, please don't forget to like that live. Lets people know we're in here chatting away. We'll be chatting for another hour and a half. Hour and a half. Do you think it's someone who's a bit desensitized could do? Yeah. I mean, we definitely, I think naturally in this line of work, you become desensitized to some of the worst things that happen in the world. You hear it often, you hear it a lot. It is not like the TV shows, it is much more real. So I think we all in this line of work become a little desensitized. So I would say that if it's kind of a state you're already in, that yeah, I don't see why that would hurt. I would think that if you're desensitized because you kind of got your own stuff, which we all do, you should have a conversation with yourself if, you know, being exposed to more people's trauma and other people's junk is something you're ready and willing to do. I think that's kind of the bigger question, the bigger ask we all need to ask ourselves, because we're all humans coming in to do this line of work. We all bring our own life experience, our own baggage, our own junk. And for some people who've been through some stuff, hearing that might not be the best line of work for them. So definitely, you know, you have to have an honest conversation with yourself. For everyone, thank you so much for continuing to like the live. 6.1K likes. You guys are freaking awesome. Awesome. Let me turn this off because this is kind of annoying here. Sorry, put my phone on Do Not Disturb real quick. I kept getting little notifications, and I didn't want that anymore. So Thank you guys so much for continuing to like the live. You have about 15 people hanging out with this chat and answering questions about 911. If you are a 911 dispatcher and you have been dispatching, feel free to throw your name into the chat. Let me know where you're dispatching from, what state. We don't need agencies, but what state? How long you've been dispatching. I'd love to say hi from California. I would think answering phones would be more the challenging part. It really kind of they're both challenging. Like one isn't harder than the other. Like they just both are very unique and different. Like at my department, when I'm working certain radio channels, I'm also answering the phone. So I could be on a 911 line and talking to my officer at the same time. Super challenging, right? Whereas my call takers who are only call taking, they're getting hammered. They're getting 911, 911, 911, like super challenging. So one's not harder than the other. Both have their struggles and both have their challenges. The biggest difference, I think, at my agency, and this isn't the same at every agency, is that on certain channels, I do sometimes have to multitask my units and my callers, depending on how busy it is. Are you a supervisor at your agency? Yes, I am a supervisor at my agency. Brand new, just lateraled, so brand new baby supervisor. What's your opinion on AI being part of dispatching on phones and radio? I am a big fan of technology and dispatch. Anything that reduces stress, increases officer unit safety, I'm all for it. Especially when I think of AI, there's a huge reality of what it can be, what it can grow into. But I think at the root, what I see it being most helpful with right now is helping us decrease how inundated we are with non-emergency calls. What happens a lot with 911 dispatch centers is when the city or county or whoever is closed, we get a lot of that runoff. Things that would go to different departments, things that would go to different businesses, they tend to call the police and ask for assistance. So, utilizing AI to filter calls that we can point elsewhere and not have to kind of troubleshoot through would be wonderful. In a perfect world, I think AI can be helpful. I don't think there's ever going to be a day that AI reduces the need for dispatchers. It's just you need humans doing this job because of how quickly things escalate and change. So, but I definitely think AI can help reduce some strain and pull that we are experiencing, especially in our centers that are short staffed. How does bilingual pay work? Man, as someone who never learned Spanish, blame my grandma, not me. I can tell you, kind of on a base level, typically, if you are bilingual, there is a bilingual test you take with your department if they offer bilingual pay. As long as you pass that test, you are then able to utilize your ability to speak another language during a 911 call or a call for service that requires that skill. And then you are compensated on top of your base salary. So if you qualify for bilingual pay, your department usually agrees on a percentage, let's say 5%. I'd say that's pretty typical. If you are a bilingual dispatcher, you make $100 an hour. That's what we're hoping for, right? Make $100 an hour. You would then get 100 plus 5%, and that would be your base pay. 100 plus 5% as a bilingual dispatcher. Easy round numbers for people who are bad at math, aka me. But yeah, that's typically how bilingual pay work. Not every department is 5%. Some are 10%. Maybe some are higher. What mostly I've seen is 5%. So, but that's pretty much how it works. I do creme, defense, ATM, and we do capital cases, so lots of audio and photos. Yeah, for sure. Lots of audio and photos. Very cool. Dylan, dropping in from Texas, 12 years under the headset. Hello from California, Dylan. Thanks so much for jumping on. Kaylee, Bay Area too. About to take my typing test for a first agency. Very, very cool. Good luck. Excuse me. I'm sure you're going to do great. I'm sure you're going to do great, Kaylee. Hello from the Bay. Hello, neighbor. I take my critical pre-employment test tonight. Any tips and tricks? Definitely, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, check out our YouTube channel, The Raspy Dispatcher. Got a bunch of videos, got a bunch of information about the critical test on there, long form. You can check it out. Thetypingtest.com. Thetypingtest.com. Wait, is that it? The typing test? I always forget. Is it the typing? Is that it? Is that it? No, that's not it. Hold on. Typing test. I'm gonna find it. The typing test. What is it? What is it? The typing test. Why am I blanking on what it is? If someone has heard me say it before, please throw it in the chat. Typing data entry typing test 911. Thepracticetest.com. That's what it is. Thepracticetest.com. It's critical data entry, free. I'm sure there's paid stuff through here too, but a great place to go for practice. That's thepracticetest.com. Paul, we answer after hours for a city electric department. The power goes out. I know, right? I mean, we're the fail safe for any department that is closed. We kind of manage their calls too. So any help with that, helpful. For everyone hanging out with us, we're just hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. Our goal is 10,000 likes. We're at 8.4 now. Hopefully, this is coming through good. We having a problem with the internet, but we're going to fix that. I promise we're going to fix it. It's literally on my list to go deal with that after this. But we are going to be up and running by next week's live. We're gonna do it. It's gonna get done. So by next week we'll be able to stream, hopefully, on the computer, on our fancy camera, all that good stuff. But for everyone who's hanging out with us today, I really appreciate it. We got about 16 people kicking it. Yes, talking about 911 dispatch, answering questions. Again, what I love about going live and being in community this way is I don't have all the answers, everybody. I actually don't know everything. Be first to tell you, I don't know it all, but someone in this chat might. So if someone asks a question and you have some awesome advice to give them, please throw it in that chat, and hopefully you can, meet a virtual friend, get some feedback, support a dispatcher with a question they may have. Do you think in my final interview I should bring up that question about bilingual pay? Sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with answering a question about bilingual pay, especially if it's something that's important to you and it's something that's relative to you. Yeah, 1,000%. Also, I noticed the pay they are currently promoting is higher than the recruitment I signed up for. I imagine at some point after that recruitment, they maybe got a raise approved. Usually raises, contracts are usually negotiated every 3 years, maybe 4 years. I think two. Um, so I believe the general rule of thumb is whatever their new negotiated pay bottom is, that's what you should be brought in at. I have never experienced a situation where they go, well, our new base pay is higher than when you applied, but you're going to come in at the applied rate. It's usually whatever the contract is because they're usually unionized. But feel free to ask about that in the process as well and make sure. Yeah, I mean, you can ask about anything in your final interview, whatever is really relative and important for you to be able to make that decision. You can also negotiate your pay, your wages. It is a conversation, it's not a final number. So if for some reason that number comes in lower than what the base pay is, you should bring that to their attention when you are negotiating that final offer. Don't be afraid to negotiate, folks. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Jess, Jess in Alaska. Can't wait to see what kind of continuing education you have in store for us all. Man, let me tell you, me and my people are out here working. I can't wait to share with you guys all the awesome stuff we are cooking up. I'm one of those people, and my my wife has to tell me all the time that I have to slow down, because I have so many thoughts, so many ideas, and I just want everything to happen so quickly. So I want to tell you everything right now in this moment. I want to give it to you all, like all the things. But I think it is going to be really important for us to continue to work out things on the back end, and then as we have stuff, give it to you. But I have a whole team who are just powerhouses wanting to really elevate this industry. One of our big slogans that we're bringing into this new year is dispatchers are no longer waiting for change, we are creating it. And I really, really, truly believe that anyone at any level of this industry has the ability to make this industry better. We can get really caught up in a lot of the negative, and the negative is real. Like, let's not act like it don't exist, right? Like, people's feelings, the trauma we experience, the toxic environments, the toxic centers, that is all a reality. But I am all for solution oriented conversations and improving and changing the industry. And that is what we're doing. We're not waiting for change, we're creating it. And anyone who wants to help create that, like, subscribe, tell a friend, head to firstcallready.com, subscribe for that waitlist, and we're going to build this community, and we're going to build some awesome, awesome, awesome stuff in person and virtual. Yes, the typing test. Cass, thank you. You're so welcome. Nick, you're new from the wedding. Nick, hello from Louisiana. We had a good time, Nick. We had a good time. Oh, so great to see you virtually, man. Hope you're doing good. Hope your new year has been wonderful. I was just telling Claudia the other day, like, man, I go back there. I go back to Louisiana. Louisiana was a good time. And Joanna, I just got my email today about passing my interview, waiting now to hear back about doing a sit-in. Hey, congrats, Joanna. Very, very cool. Sit-ins, man. Sit-ins are so important. And for those who are not aware, a sit-in is the same as like a ride-along for patrol. You go into a center, you put on a headset, and you listen to the dispatcher do their thing. You watch them answer 911. You watch them dispatch officers. You hear the actual 911 calls. Honestly, the sit-along is where I decided, ooh, I could do this and I want to do this. This seems like something exciting, something meaningful, something that I wouldn't mind waking up and going to every day. I figured that out in my sit along. So I can't stress enough how important the sit along is for you, just as an applicant, to make sure that that department is a good fit. Like, check the vibes in the room, see how everyone interacts with each other. Like, does this feel like a place I want to sit for 12 hours? Because genuinely, not all centers are created equal. And I do think it's very, very important too, Be intentional with the department that you choose to hopefully have a very long career at. We're definitely, I think, as a whole, not just in this industry, just in general, people aren't staying at places where they don't feel valued or appreciated. So hopefully, that first agency that you choose, and if you're intentional with, you know, doing the research and figuring out if this is the right agency for you, then you can stay, learn, and grow and have a very long career at that agency. But if for some reason you no longer feel valued at an agency, or you are ready for a change, or maybe there's no promotional growth at the current agency you're at, don't be afraid to look to lateral either. You know, people stay where they feel valued. I want my people to receive the training, support, and education that they can leave. They are great applicants for anyone, but they choose to stay, and that should really be kind of an industry standard in every industry, not just our industry. In every industry, I should be developing my people, so they have the skills and abilities to leave, but the grass is so green over here, they don't want to go nowhere. That really should be the reality. So when you're checking these departments, when you're checking the vibe, think about that. Think about long term. Think about growth. Think about where you want to be in 5 years. And does it feel like this could be the right place? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We got about 15 people hanging out with us. We got over 10,000 likes, so we met our goal. So I'm hoping that we can get to 15,000 likes before the end of the stream. We are about an hour in. We're going to be going for another hour or so, answering questions about 911 dispatching, chatting with you folks. If you've been with us the whole time, we're really trying to do this once a week. We're really trying to get it to a place where we're doing it on YouTube and doing it on TikTok at the same time. But we are in my new studio, and we're working through things. We are working through things. We are working full time still. We're trying to figure it out, but it is really a nice setup. We just got to get this internet under control, and we're gonna work on that. I promise. Hopefully by next week we have that locked in. I thought I had it done today, but doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. So all good though. We're still hanging out. We're still kicking it. Thank you guys so much. 30 questions in the chat. We'll see if we can get you an answer. Hopefully we can. If not, someone else might have the answer for you. Dylan, coming from a supervisor who's on interview boards, ask all the questions. Yeah, man. And quite frankly, excuse my little shoulder there. Any department who doesn't like the fact that you're asking questions about this job that people don't have information about, not a good department. Not a good department. Not a good department. And that's okay, you know? It wasn't meant for you. And I know, and I say everything I say about departments as someone who's employed, right? So I do understand I want this job. I need a job. You know, the pay is good. I'm trying to secure this bag. I need this job. But I can't stress enough how important it is to not just view this line of work as just a job, simply because of the amount you're going to have to give to this job, to this career. It's not like any other job. And it's just really important that you really pick the place that is best for you to grow into. I cannot stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. Get my little advertising off of here. Dylan, you are your best advocate. Don't undersell yourself and your experience and skills. So true. For those who are in the interview process, I think a lot of times applicants can get really caught up on I need to tell them a work related story that is related to this question, you have also very much lived experience, right? Like maybe we ask you a question about conflict. Like, how do you manage conflict? Give us an example of a time that you disagreed with someone. How did you work through it? What did you learn from it? And you're sitting in that interview and you're like, I can't think of anything that's happened at work, but I can't think of the first time I moved out of my house and lived with a roommate and we had a conflict. Like, tell that story. Like, those stories, those lived experiences are just as valuable as work experience. So, I think it's super helpful to kind of have a couple of questions for a couple different scenarios, kind of locked and loaded going into an interview. We have a full playlist on our YouTube page about the interview process, about preparation. We have a paid resource, Winning Over the Panel workbook, that you can utilize as well. But definitely start at the free stuff. Start at the YouTube channel. But yeah, just kind of having like a little elevator speech for every scenario. Oh, this question is asking me about my conflict management skills. Boom, this is my scenario for conflict management. Oh, this question is asking me about how I take feedback and how I take critical feedback and how I respond to that. Boom, here's my scenario about how I take feedback. Oh, this question is asking me how I multitask. Okay, here's my multitasking example. And what's really, really, really awesome about interviews, we do not promote lying at your interview. But I would like to stress that no one's fact checking you. No one is fact checking you after this interview. No one's calling your roommate that you had the conflict with and asking them, hey, is this how your conflict went? So, when you're telling your stories and your scenarios and your examples, highlight you. You're the star. What are the amazing things you did well? You know, what are the amazing things you did well? Put it out there. Put it out there for people. You are the star. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like the live. We're at 11.5K likes, hoping to get to 15. We got about another hour left of this live, about another hour left of this live. Thank you for tuning in on TikTok. Sorry my camera isn't as crispy clean as it was last week. For some reason, the internet is being really silly. Really, really silly. But we're going to work on that. Hopefully, we'll get that fixed by next week. If you do have experience in dispatching, you should be compensated if you go to another center. Yeah, 1,000%. You would lateral in as a lateral dispatcher. And again, laterals, don't be afraid to negotiate your pay. If they want to bring you in at step A, try shooting for step B. You know, you have a very, very, very learned skill, a skill that is hard to train. The lateraling to a new agency is tough. Even if you've done this job for a while, you still have a very, very unique set of skills that is tough to train. So don't be afraid to try to negotiate. They might say no, and that's okay. You come in at what you would have came in. Very fun time. Come from Mardi Gras. Man, I feel like our little, because we stayed at a B&B, Nick, I feel like our B&B host was still Mardi Gras it up. Um, no, it really was. We really, really had a good time. Really enjoyed ourselves. I'm already coming up with so many questions that I have. I truly want to learn. Sounds like you're in the right place because, Joanna, you're going to be learning lots. I'm hoping it's a good environment. I am too. I'm hoping your agency, potential agency, is a really good environment. I'm sorry, YouTube, if you're watching this back and my hands keep going in my face. It's a struggle, but we're trying. We're at least recording this to hopefully get you guys some feedback and answers. Again, YouTube, I do apologize that we weren't able to go live for you. For everyone just hanging out, we are just kicking it, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. Feel free to throw those questions into the chat and we will do our best to get you some answers. We'll do our best to get you some answers here. What is that button? Am I back? Did I lose you guys? Am I still here? Oh, I think I'm still here. Okay, here we go. How's the connection, guys? Are we still good? Let's see. If a dispatch center is continually hiring, no send in by date, is it common to not hear back for a while? Kaylee, yeah, I would say it is common to not hear back for a while. And the reality is, with like from a business standpoint, with job postings, job postings typically have like money attached to it, right? Like we have this amount in our budget for this amount of dispatchers. And sometimes there's like a, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's like a community board or a, gosh, why am I blanking on the word? Gosh. The homies that sit with the mayor of the city, that board, and I can't think of the board, sometimes has to approve your job posting. So a lot of departments don't like to pull down a job posting because they don't like to have to go through. There it goes. They don't like to have to go through like approval from those governing bodies in the county, in the city. Gosh, I really, really can't think of the name. So sometimes a job posting will be left open, and they'll build a like eligibility list, even though they're not necessarily hiring that week, if that makes sense. So sometimes jobs are just left out there because of politics behind pushing those jobs out again, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Definitely, definitely, definitely apply to multiple agencies and let them fight over you. Let them fight over you. What does your day/week look like as a full-time dispatcher? Do you have time for the gym? Man, I have actually. I'm like 4 months into my little gym grind. Back to being an athlete again. But yeah, for me, it has been much easier. We have on-duty workout time. So before I was waking up a little earlier to go to the gym, like 24-hour down the street or whatever. And that's cool. I could do that. But having on duty workout time and be able to work out at work for that hour instead of having to work it into my day before work, super helpful. So I've been managing to be able to do my gym time at work 3 to 4 times a week, depending on how many days I work, which has been great. But on nights, I'm usually able to. I have more time on nights. So if for some reason I don't want to work out at work, I want to get it in before work, I have plenty of time. Days, day shift is a little harder, I think, at least for me. It's probably not for everyone. There are some humans who like day shift. I don't get it. I don't get how y'all like day shift. I can't do it. 4 o'clock is too early to be up trying to move through the world. But for me, working out after work, super tough. I can't do it. I can't work a 12-hour shift, then go to the gym. Yeah, that's not for me. But for some people that works. For some people, that works. But definitely on duty workout time is a great, great, great benefit. And it's something that you can ask and see if these agencies have available for you. For everybody hanging out with us, don't forget to tap that screen, like that live. Lets everyone know we're in here chatting away. We're going to be chatting for another hour. We have another hour, so let's like that live as much as we can to get more people here. One of the cool things about the live, too, is it shows people who are not necessarily followers of like our platform and our movement, etc. I think on the last live, I got like 16 new followers, so it just like reaches more people, which I think is awesome. So cool. Use my current job for my answers and my life experience to my interviews and incorporate it. Yeah, that's great. If you have an example for every question from your current job, wonderful. There's no wrong answer there. For everyone hanging out, we're just answering questions about 911 dispatch. Kicking it for another hour. Feel free to throw your questions into the chat, like that live. Just working through the chat here, seeing what we got. Taj, hey, just came to say hi as I saw you came across my For You page. Hello, Taj. Hello, hello. Thanks for jumping on saying hi. Hello from California. Dylan, we still see you. Appreciate you, Dylan. I'm telling you, man, this internet. But it's okay. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. It's gonna be wonderful. City Council! Dylan! That's it! City Council members. Oh, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Probably because I only slept 4 hours today. But yes, city council members. Sometimes you have to get city council approval to post jobs. So to avoid that political stuff, they just leave the jobs there. Glad everyone's like answering these questions. Yes, city council was what I was thinking of. Let's see if this will look better. I am a day walker. Dylan, I don't know how you do it, man. I have a really, really strong theory that I mean, I'm no scientist, okay? But there's a time warp or something between days and nights, because when I work day shift, okay, I get off at 6. You know, I live in the Bay. It takes an hour to get home. You know, it takes an hour to drive 5 miles. Get home 7. Okay, gotta cook dinner. Eat dinner, done, ready, done with all that by 8. We're winding down now. We need to start, you know, chilling, getting ready for bed. Maybe you're in bed by 11, you know, going to sleep 10, 11. And then I'm getting up at 4:30. That's not a lot of time. Okay, 11 to 4, no, not enough for me. But when I work nights, I get off at 6 a.m. I'm home by 6:30, 6:40. You know, get ready for bed, and I'm asleep. You know, I knock out. I'm asleep by 7. Most days, I'm sleeping till noon 1. On my real sleepy days, I sleep till 2. And then I still have, if I sleep till 2, I still have an hour, 2, 3, 3, 4, about 2.5 hours where I can do whatever the heck I want. I'm telling you, time warp. It's my scientific opinion. It's my scientific opinion. There is a time warp. For everyone just hanging out with us, we're just answering questions about 911 dispatching. Don't forget to like the live, throw your questions in the chat. We're working through them. Apologize if the internet is being weird. I'm doing my best, y'all. I'm doing my best. Desi, I had my first panel interview yesterday. I was so nervous. I think I blew it. Fingers crossed I somehow make it to the next round. Desi, I'm sending you all the good vibes. You know, we're a lot harder on ourselves than reality. So I'm hoping that it just felt worse than it actually was. But you know what? If for whatever reason that one didn't go well, apply to another agency. Give it another shot. Reapply. We've interviewed people twice before. I know people who have applied multiple times for the same agency. You know, sometimes it isn't right for that moment, but then it is right later. Or sometimes it's not a good fit for that agency, but it's a good fit for another one. So definitely keep trying if for some reason it didn't work out for that agency, but I'm sending you all the good vibes. Hopefully it went well. Grelita, hi from Missouri. Hello from California. Thank you so much for jumping in. Say hi. Vicky, hi from Visalia, California. Hello from the Bay, neighbor. Hello. I work 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Man, I'm going in at 6, so hopefully this Verizon outage that folks were talking about earlier isn't affecting you. I'm hoping it ain't affecting me. Hello, I applied for dispatching in March and passed the credit call, but I haven't heard back. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Was March, April, May? Yeah. Man, yeah, sucks. I would say keep applying to other agencies as well. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Unfortunately, sometimes when you pass credit call, you might get put on a wait list, and then they pull from that eligibility list as they have openings come up. One thing that happens a lot that I don't think people talk about enough is training and how many desks we have available to train. We might have 10 openings, but only have 2 trainers and only have like 3 desks available to train, right? So like that's a balancing act too when we're trying to push people through the hiring processes. Do we have the bodies to actually train you to do this job, right? So that might be a delay as well. When given a start date, is it usually 2 weeks? Wondering how much time I'll be able to give current job. Yeah, I mean, start dates are... You are the prize. You tell them when you're starting, right? You know, I think industry-wise and, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Professionally, 2 weeks notice is proper, polite. So I think most agencies expect that 2 weeks out from the offer is typically, you know, routine. But yeah, 2 weeks. They'll be like, we're giving you the job. When can you start? And then you tell them when. You know, they're not going to be like, you can do 3 weeks. We're not going to give you the job now. Like, you just put me through this whole process. I passed. You're going to give me the job. So know that too. If you need to work a week off to give you some rest, work a week off. Give your job 2 weeks. Start your new one 3 weeks. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. You're about to enter a very, very stressful training process. Protect yourself a little bit. Thank you guys so much. 11.9K likes, almost at 12. Try to hit 15 before this hour is up. So continue liking that live. Appreciate y'all so much. If you have questions about being a 911 dispatcher, throw it into the chat. If you are a current dispatcher, feel free to throw the state you're dispatching from, how many years you have under the headset. We'd love to say hi from California. Just thank you all for hanging out with us on this Wednesday before shift. Do you have to take college to be a 911 dispatcher? No, Joanne, you do not. And this is by far my favorite part of this job. You do not have to have higher education to be a 911 dispatcher. And that is not to say that folks who do this job aren't educated, aren't qualified. I hold an undergrad in criminal justice. I hold a master's degree in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in kinesiology. I am an overly educated dummy. And I can tell you, I would not do a couple of these degrees the way I did them, knowing what my professional career was going to be. What I love about this job in 911 dispatching is if you value education, cool, go get those degrees, but you don't need to get a degree in criminal justice, right? Um, higher education is on a professional level in 911 is more important for folks who want to promote. A lot of time, promotions do require associates, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, etc. So if that is important to you moving forward, just take that into consideration. You can do online school, night classes, etc. But what I love about this job, entry level dispatchers do not need any higher education, high school diploma. College isn't for everyone, you know, but they can get into this job. Um, they can get good benefits. They can get a good pay going, get good retirement without a degree. And I think that's freaking awesome. And that's someone who has degrees. I love that about our job. I love that that is a avenue for good benefits, good pay in this field line of work. So if promoting is something you're interested in, definitely consider, taking some classes here and there. A lot of departments also reimburse for a certain amount of credits every quarter. So, a lot of options to kind of find your way to those degrees and those promotions if that is something of value to you. But as far as an entry level candidate, no higher ed needed. Love that about this job. Oh, it's hurting us in Texas too. Verizon. Dang it, Verizon. I swear if I go to work and this is a problem, I'm going to be mad about it. Might blame y'all because I didn't know about it till y'all told me about it. So I might be pointing fingers your way. Might be pointing fingers your way. Thank you guys for continuing to like the live. I really, really, really appreciate that. It lets people know we're in here chatting away. We're going to be chatting here around till about 4:30, depending on how the vibe is. 4:30. If I have a pre-planned, pre-paid trip, receive an offer, do you think they will care? No. Everyone's been where you're at. Everyone has applied to a new job. Everyone has had pre-planned stuff when applying to a new job. They won't care. Just put all that on the table from the jump. What they will care about is if you get in there, you don't tell them about it, and then you try to throw it on the back end. What they do care about is if you get in there and all of a sudden they're like, you're working nights for training. You're like, I can't work nights. I can't work weekends. That's not going to fly. But having a life planned before taking this job, not a big deal. Just have all those dates ready for when you get that offer. You can give it to them and they can plan ahead. Solid Espanol, I got to backgrounds in August. Told us they would let us know if we passed or failed background check, but nothing yet. Oh, August, man, you know what? Backgrounds are really backlogged. That's just a reality. Backgrounds are backlogged because the reality is that your backgrounder is also doing backgrounds for police, police patrol, fire departments, CSI, corrections. I mean, they're just inundated. So unfortunately, that's one of the bad things about our process that I don't know if we could really improve it. There are some departments who are doing a soft hire, soft background check, which I really, really like. I think it's actually a really good way to get people in the door, get them moving and training. But if they fail out, then they get kicked out of the program. What a soft background check. So if folks who are listening and you're in dealing with, training and hiring and stuff for your department, it's a pretty cool thing that some agencies I found are doing. They do a soft background check. So whatever their agency standard for a soft background check, they get people cleared and then they put them in an academy. So they're in an academy setting. They're not accessing, NCIC or confidential information that they're going to need clearance for. but they can get into the academy and start learning type codes, learning how to answer what questions that, geography. They get them into academy while their background's being completed. And if for some reason they fail out of backgrounds, then they are released from training. They're released from that academy. But you don't waste time waiting for backgrounds to clear with people just sitting and twiddling their thumbs, right? So that's kind of a cool option that I've seen agencies start doing and start implementing. I haven't worked in an agency that's done it, but some local agencies near me are doing it, and they're snatching up these applicants. If it's between my agency and this other agency is going, I'll get you a paycheck right now, and we'll get you in here, start learning while you wait, versus we'll see you when your background clears. Someone's probably going to go with that agency who's ready to take them on now, even if it's possible they don't clear background. So something to think about if you are involved in your hiring process, that is a good option to maybe see if it makes sense for your agency. It doesn't make sense for a lot. For everyone hanging out, thank you so much. 13.2K likes, trying to get to 15K before we call it a day. We're going to be here till about 4 p.m. Answering questions about 911 dispatch. And I'm telling you, by the end of this year, this live is going to be thousands of people. That is the goal. It's going to be thousands of people. We're going to tune in every week. It's going to be wonderful. Dylan, hey, kinesiology. I have a bachelor's, master's, soon to be PhD in kines. Hey, very cool, Dylan. Very, very cool. Yeah, for a very long time, I was trying to coach basketball full time. I was like, I'm gonna live my life in sweats, and I'm never gonna have to go work a full job. I'm gonna coach basketball. And then one day I was like, I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of being broke. I gotta get into this. Get into a career. Let's see what these undergrad degrees can do. So that's how I ended up in dispatch. And honestly, I love it. Love it, love it. Miss hoop, but love what we're doing here. Love what we're doing here. Do you recommend taking any certifications to help pad the application or not necessary? Not necessary at all. Any certifications and things, I mean, I've heard of people trying to take like the post dispatch academy beforehand. I don't think it adds any value to your application in this line of work. Especially because all those certifications that would be helpful, like the department's going to pay for that for you to be certified and qualify and whatnot. So let them pay for it. Don't waste your money. Like, let them pay for it. I think that is probably the best course of action, honestly. I get people's excitement and wanting to, invest in themselves to be the best applicants available, but I just genuinely don't think certifications equal the most qualified applicant in this industry. This is such a learn job, on the job, learn job, that your time would be more valuable, like practicing how to answer interview questions and how to like connect with people at the department to let them know, like, hey, choose me, pick me. And this is why. Hope that's helpful. Lexi baby, dispatch in Chicago here. Hello. Is it snowing out there? Is it snowing in Chicago? I feel like it gets real cold out there. And I got thin California skin. I can't do it. I have family in Pueblo, Colorado, and they sent me a picture of it like snowing out there. And they said it wasn't even that bad. I was like, that looks terrible. I don't know. No, thank you. I played basketball in Iowa. My first winter out there, negative 32 degrees. Negative 32 degrees. Negative. Hear that? Negative. Crazy. Crazy behavior. They didn't have that in the pamphlet when I got recruited, let me tell you. Excuse me. It's Mr. Quiznos. I just passed my background check. Have to do my psych eval and drug testing physical now. Very, very cool. Congrats on passing background. That's the hardest part. It's the hardest part, passing backgrounds. We are slowly, every week, 2 videos a week? Excuse me. 2 videos a week, posting our long form, informational content on YouTube. So definitely, I believe we just posted, I have it in front of my face. Let me look. Oh, I get lost in what I'm doing. But we have posted our newest videos: 911 dispatcher polygraph exam explained, the 911 dispatcher background check, everything you need to know, and a general overview of every step of the 911 dispatcher application process. Those videos are out on the YouTube channel right now, and we're posting a new one every week, 1 to 2 new ones every week, just updating all this content as we continue to kind of rebrand, rebuild, and get more consistent with our outreach here. So if that is helpful for you, head to theraspydispatcher.com on YouTube and check out those videos. It's just me kind of like this, talking a little more in depth about my experience in each of those steps of that process. I just took a personality test. What is it that they look for in it? I couldn't tell you. That sounds kind of like the psych exam, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I've took a personality test. Let's see. Personality test versus psych. Are those kind of the same thing? Sounds like a psychological exam is a little more broad than a personality test. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you what they're actually looking for. I don't conduct those tests. I mean, per Google, focuses on behavioral traits, motivations, interaction styles. But yeah, past that, I couldn't tell you, man. I'm sorry. Couldn't tell you. Thank you guys for liking the live. We're at 15,000 likes. Can we get 20? Can we get 20K likes before the hour is up? That would be awesome. That would be awesome if we do it. If not, we're still hanging out, answering questions about 911 dispatching. Throw your questions into the chat. I'm working through the chat as we go here. Answer any questions you may have about 911 dispatching. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and love the fact that we hit 15K likes. Completed my personal history statement, passed my polygraph interview, and they didn't move forward but said I'm not disqualified though. I'm so confused. It sounds like, Serena, you might have got put on an eligibility list. So they're like, not right now for whatever reason, but maybe you're still eligible. With all of that being said, I would apply for another agency. I would keep applying for other agencies, especially if you've gotten through your background polygraph. Like, you're probably going to clear at any agency you apply for. You just got to find the right fit. You know, for whatever reason, that agency wasn't the best fit for you at that moment. But don't be afraid to continue applying to other agencies. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, folks. Some agencies might still let you wear sweats. Hey, I be slipping in a good jogger on casual Fridays, okay? Kaylee, thank you. Also helpful. You're so welcome. I am so glad that you found any of this info helpful. We're just out here trying to help people understand the process, get through this application, get a job if that's, you know, a career, I should say. But we're just out here. We're just out here trying to push the information um, increase the wealth, health and wealth of our industry. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of misinformation out there for the everyday citizen. We got to improve our centers. We got a lot of work to do, but we're out here trying. We're out here trying. Jennifer, I'm currently in background with 3 agencies. I have done 2 polygraphs and we do my third Monday. Hey, it sounds Jennifer. It sounds like you gonna have options, and I love really really telling um like you're the prize queen. Like if you pass all of these for all of these agencies, like be picky, go to these agencies, do these sit-alongs, ask the tough questions, get the vibe, make sure the agency that you decide to say yes to is the best fit, is the right agency for you, because it is so so important. You're going to be spending 12 hours a day, 3 to 4 days a week with these people. Holidays, Christmas, Easter, Super Bowl Sunday. Like, you're going to hang out with these folks, and you want to hang out in an environment where the job is tough, right? That's a reality. But you enjoy the people you're doing the job with. And that, like I've said it before on these lives, but I would rather take a $50,000 pay cut and work hella mandated overtime at an agency where I love going to work. Like, these are my people. We in the trenches. Everyone's having a good time with this tough job. Everyone's supporting one another. Then only working my scheduled time, um, making $50,000 more, and hating the environment I'm going into every day. Like, no, thank you. I'd rather be mandated, work a heck of overtime, and enjoying the people I'm doing this tough job with. So definitely don't sleep on asking the questions, making sure this is the right fit. And I am so, so glad to hear that you have some options. Barbara, sitting at the console right now taking some calls. Hello, hello. Hope it's that word we don't say at your shift. I'm barely 4 months into the job. How do you learn to deal with the calls where someone passes? Jen, I am a big advocate for preventative self care. In this line of work, we're very responsive. Like, medical emergency happens, I call 911. We respond. Like, we're always a step behind because something has to happen. Thank you so much for the rose. Something has to happen for someone to call us for us to respond out. But when it comes to like our mental health and managing our wellness, like, we really, really, truly need to be proactive instead of reactive. And that looks different for everybody. Huge therapy component, like, have a therapist, utilize your services. Thank you so much for the roses. Utilize your peer support services. Utilize your department options, your peer support team, and just get into therapy like once a month so you can work through whatever tough calls, whatever like baggage you bring home, because we all bring a little bit, and we all bring a little bit different stuff. What affects you might not affect me. One of the big examples that was told to me, I don't have kids, but one of the big examples that was told to me early in my training from a senior dispatcher was, yeah, kid calls did not bother me back in the day. Like, but then I had a kid, right? And the kid calls now bother me because there's a relationship there. Like, there's a connection that your brain puts together. So like, whatever your brain connects looks different for everybody. Again, we all have our own baggage. We all have our own history. Um, but that preventative care, utilizing therapy, utilizing peer support, utilizing, your people, your family, without trauma dumping on them. We don't we don't want to traumatize other people by giving them our trauma. But being very preventative just kind of helps unpack that natural weight we carry the more we're exposed to those calls, because they're not going anywhere. They're going to continue to happen. Hope that helps. And yeah, Dylan, tough for sure. Ask yourself, did you do everything you were able to do to help? Yep, you did your job well. Thousand percent. Tips for staying positive during CTO phase with daily reviews. Woo! Let me tell y'all, CTO, your training time as a dispatcher is so tough. We don't talk about it enough. It should be studied. We have such a tough training program no matter what agency you are at because you are constantly being critiqued for 12 hours about every single call you've taken. You did that wrong, you did that right, but you missed this, and then you did that okay, but you didn't do this, and yeah, you forgot this, and like that is literally training as a 911 dispatcher. And I've said it before, I don't think there's any other way. I don't have the answer of another way to do it because this job is a very much you have to do it to learn it, and you have to fail a lot before you start winning. Like that's kind of the process. Any dispatcher that's like, I started answering phones and I was solid from my first 911 call, they're lying to you. They're liars. Don't believe them. Don't hang out with them. They're lying to you. This job is tough to learn, and I think the best thing to do is really commit to being a student. Ask questions, do the extra work, come to work early, drive around the city that you're dispatching in. Ask for different ways to listen to the radio outside of your shift. Like, really commit to being a student in order to really get better at this job. And know to give yourself grace. Know that the bad CTOs exist, toxic, mean CTOs exist. I don't want to take away from people's experience with that. But most of the time, adult humans just don't like receiving a lot of critical feedback. And that trainer really does want you to do well. Most trainers really do want you to be successful, and the feedback you are receiving is to help you get through the training process. So just know that if it feels like that trainer's just dumping on you, that the 9 times out of 10, you're going to be good. You're going to be good. Hope that helps. Hope that helps a little bit. Give yourself grace. Know your trainer is trying to make you successful, because the reality is, like, if I get you through training, that means I get a new partner. I get more time off. I get less mandated overtime. Like, we want you to be successful, but it doesn't always feel like that. And that's valid. That feeling is valid. Dylan, remind yourself daily they are good. They are daily reviews. Tomorrow's a new day. Love that, Dylan. Love it. Kia just did a pre-test. How long did it take to get a reply back? I'm so nervous. It could be a month. It could be a week. Could be a day. Just depends on the agency how long it actually takes to hear back from them. Hopefully sooner than later for you. Hopefully sooner than later. For everyone just jumping in, we're at about 16,000 likes. Would love to get to 20K before we jump off here. We're planning to jump off around 4:30, depending on the vibe. My lunch did just show up, so probably closer to 4. I'm going to be quite honest with you. But we've been hanging out for almost 2 hours now. So thank you guys all so much for continuing to show up, like this live. We're going to be going live once a week, answering questions about 911 dispatching. While I have you here, I'm going to do a little spiel. The Raspy Dispatcher is how this all started, a YouTube channel. This year, we have launched our new company, First Call Ready. First Call Ready is a community training education organization that is really committed to empowering the aspiring dispatchers and the current dispatchers. And we are going to be slowly unraveling all the goods about First Call Ready over the next couple months. I have a new team. I have a new podcast. We have new organizational stuff that I can't quite tell you yet, but I want to tell you. I want to tell you everything, but I can't just yet. But we're going to be unraveling that over the next month, 2, 3. So head to firstcallready.com, join our subscriber list so you don't miss out on any of those updates. But firstcallready.com, definitely check that out. But we're still on the Raspy Dispatcher. That's my personal brand, personal handle now. So that's not going anywhere. We're keeping these active and live, but our company, our organization is now going to be known as First Call Ready. Thank you guys for continuing to like the live. We got 8 new followers just from hanging out for the next 2 hours. Like, I love lives. They're so fun. So fun. And you guys liking this live just sends it to more people, gets us more followers, spreads the message. We love it. Thank you so much. Green-eyed Amazon, 15 years in, still love the job, but definitely so much at times. Take care of yourself always. Great advice. Great advice. Definitely take care of yourself. That is the best way. We have to. Mama Rec 911. I love therapy. I'm saying we need to love it more. Everyone. And therapy looks different for everyone. So definitely utilize those resources. Don't be afraid to use your resources. Start building a bond with your therapist before you need to go to them with a crisis event. Love it. Great advice. How long does it take for you to get pre-testing results back? Again, could be 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. It just depends on the agency. Oh, I might have read that twice. Sorry if I read that twice. Thank you. You're welcome. Very excited for the podcast. Kaylee, I am so excited for this podcast. You guys, these chairs, you notice there's two? There's two. I have a co-host. I'm going to have some guests. We're going to be live, like doing live. Oh, it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited about it. And one thing I can tell you about the podcast is when we do start dropping episodes, we're going to go live too. So like every other week. So if we post a podcast episode on the first week, the second week, we're going to go live talking about that episode. So like lots of interaction, a lot of community building. Like, it's going to be so wonderful. So wonderful. It's crazy. I feel like it's a job most people forget exists until they have an emergency. 1,000%. And rightfully so, I guess. We're very important when you need us. Sorry, my other camera wasn't focusing. But super true. Super true. And I think that's why 911 education is so important. I want people to have foundational knowledge where when they call 911, they can be successful in the process. I want people to have the best experience they can on their worst day, right? I want people to feel empowered, feel supported by their dispatcher, but just prepared to answer a question. I failed my critical test. I have to wait 30 days to retake test. Do I need to reapply? I think you do need to reapply, but I would refer to whatever that communication with that department is. It might look different at every department. So I would communicate with that department of what that looks like if you have to actually reapply or if you just reach out to them to retake that test. Mary Beth passed my polygraph. Just waiting to hear back from the agency. Congrats on your new podcast too. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. And congrats on passing your polygraph. Hopefully you hear from them soon. Mackie. Hello, Mackie. Do you get annoyed by your coworkers? I don't, honestly. I mean, humans are gonna human. But I have not had any negative experiences thus far at my agency. I mean, historically, I'm sure someone's annoyed me in life. But no, I really, really enjoy the department and the people I work with. Yeah, no complaints. I am very happy to be where I'm at. They haven't called or emailed me for my final interview. I'm scared now. Don't be scared. We really suck at letting people know we love them. We we are the worst dating partners as an industry. We leave people on red all the time. We ghost people. As an industry, we need to do better. We need to do better. So just hang in there, Gracie. I'm sending you all the good vibes. Hopefully, you hear something really, really soon. Really, really, really soon. Very, very true. Good because you work there a lot. I do work a lot. Thanks for noticing, Mac. I do work a lot. For everyone who's just hanging out with us, we're just hanging out for another 15, 20 minutes or so. We've been live for 2 hours. Freaking awesome. Love, love, love these weekly lives. I'm so glad we're started this in the new year. We are hoping to get this internet together by next week so our lives can be crispy and nice. Um, but yeah, and then I'm going out of town next week, so maybe we'll do some lives via my phone out of town. I'm probably gonna do that. So we'll probably still do a live next no 2 weeks from now. Next week for sure. 2 weeks from now we'll still do a live. It'll just be in Hawaii. So definitely subscribe, like, tell a friend, all that good stuff if you haven't, so you don't miss when we go live. We are at 17.2 thousand likes. Would love to hit 20 before we jump off here in the next 15 minutes. So if you're here, feel free to hit that like button, tap away. Throw any questions you have in the chat for these last 15, 20 minutes or so, and we'll try to get you an answer here as we work through this chat. Let's see. If you are watching and you are a 911 dispatcher, you can always let us know what state you're dispatching from and how many years you got under the headset. Would love to say hello from California. Been out the job for 6 weeks and my trainer is expecting more out of me because I have a master's. It's hard. Interesting. I have two of those and I just don't know how it correlates. Sorry that's your experience. I don't know how that correlates to this job. So hopefully they stop doing that. Um, yeah, I have two masters, and just doesn't. Those degrees do not help with learning how to do this job. So hopefully that reality changes a little bit for you as you move through this training process. Yeah, man, Matt. Yeah, this job, learning this job is like no other. Like I can't even. Sometimes I can't even put to words how tough this training process is. And like one of the big things that we talk about or like people debate about is um the difference between like patrol and dispatch and like first responder versus not a first responder. And the reality is it's just different. Like these jobs, these roles are not better or worse. They are simply different. What my guys go out there and do on a traffic stop, I'm probably not going to be able to do well. And what I do when they, in my position, when they're going on a traffic stop, they wouldn't be able to do well. Like we both play our roles um, in the emergency response chain, and it just looks different. One is not necessarily tougher, harder, or worse than the other. They are simply different. So training this job, it's just so tough because you have to learn as a dispatcher, especially if you're working multiple agencies, like if you're working medical, police, and fire. I have to know what my firefighters want from me. That looks different. I have to know what my patrol units want from me. That looks different. And then you can even go patrol. My night patrol folks look much different than my day patrol folks. So you just have to learn multiple people's jobs versus just your job and your responsibility. So it's just a very unique training program. Very unique. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Don't forget to like that live. We have about 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. If we can hit 20K, that'd be awesome. If not, we still have over 17,500 likes just from hanging out and talking about 911 dispatch, which I think is pretty dope. I think that is pretty cool. A pretty cool reality. We're hoping that these lives continue to grow. Dylan, stay safe out there. I'm going to go find some dinner. Ayo, Dylan, have a good dinner. Thank you so much for hanging out and giving some amazing advice to everyone in the chat. Appreciate the love and support, Dylan. Have a good day. But we're hoping these lives continue to grow. We're hoping this platform continues to grow and continues to do some amazing things. So definitely, if you haven't hit that follow and you're still hanging out with us, you should definitely do so. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There's so many like buttons on TikTok. Like I don't know what all these things mean. But here we are. We're hanging out. As far as the schedule, is it always different? Every agency moves a little differently. You could work 410s. You could work 312s. Every other Sunday usually is a payback day, or every other insert day here is usually a payback day. During training, you are pretty much going to follow your trainers. So you could work days 1 week, swings 1 day, midnights another. It really just depends on where your trainer goes, you go, because you have no seniority, right? You go where the training is. But it does look different at every agency. I am a big fan of 12s. Can't do 410s. Definitely not doing 5/8s. Those days are behind me. I will not do that ever again. I am a big fan of 312s because every other week, barring overtime, I get 4 days off. So I really enjoy that schedule, but it does look different at every agency. And for you agencies that are working 8/5 still, stop it. Stop doing that. That's crazy. Have my poly and psych eval in 2 weeks. Alexia, don't be nervous. Check out our YouTube channel. We got some new videos out talking about the psych and God, I think the poly dropped. I think I dropped that one. Let me see. Yep, the polygraph long form video is out. And I think the psych, I think I'm dropping that this week. Let me see. But we are releasing new long form content every week on YouTube, just to update our resources, update our information. So definitely check that out if you haven't. Where is it? Let's see. Is tomorrow? Open. Oh, my internet, guys. I'm sorry. Yes, so our long form for the psych exam drops tomorrow. Technically midnight tonight. It'll go live on YouTube. But we already have the polygraph out. So if you want to watch that long form video talking about that, you definitely can at theraspydispatcher.com. All right, guys, last 5 minutes of the live. Like that live. We'll try to get to as close to 20K as possible as we're coming to a close here. You guys have been hanging out with me for 2 hours. 2 hours we've been kicking it. So thank you so much for jumping on, liking the live, interacting in the chat, having awesome conversations all about 911 dispatching. I promise we're going to get this live stuff locked down in the next week. Gonna talk about a landlord about that internet today, and we're gonna get all that squared away for next week's live. And then the following live after that is gonna be via my phone. I'm gonna be out of town, so won't be in the studio. But every week we're going live, answering questions about 911 dispatching, having conversations, interacting with your folks, doing our best to get you some answers, get you some community with this very, very tough industry, tough job. So, yeah, any other questions before we jump off here these last 5 minutes? I need a coaster. This is leaking some water here. Hey, thank you guys for running up those likes. You guys are awesome. We're at 19.3K likes with about 5 minutes to go, answering any questions about 911 dispatching here. Appreciate y'all doing that last push for these likes. You guys are awesome. How do you handle stress? I kind of mentioned earlier, I definitely do like proactive self-care. Have a therapist, have support systems, understand my peer support circle at my agency. Also, during stressful situations, I really, really intentionally breathe. Sometimes when you're in a pursuit or, you're in maybe an officer involved, pew pew, if you breathe, everyone else breathes. So really just taking that moment to inhale, exhale, and slow your breathing down, slow your communication down. Instead of I copy, out with one, in pursuit. Slowing down your language keeps everyone else slowed. Your callers, your officers, your units, they match your cadence. So if you get elevated, your caller's going to get elevated, or your units are going to get elevated. So you want to really be that I'm not a band instrument person, but that tempo keeper. That is what the dispatcher is. You are keeping the tempo of the call. So you're going to either make it go crazy or you're going to keep it smooth. So really, really proactive, preventative measures in work, and really being intentional of taking that breath during that in progress moment really, really helps keep everything level in a high stress situation. We did it, guys. 20.2K likes, 2 hours of chilling, talking about 911 dispatching. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week for our next live. Stay raspy, stay ready, everybody. See you next week.